Welcome to Tuesday, October 6, 2020. Well, folks, the changes we're talking about for this weekend still on track, but for today all the way up till probably for most of you Saturday, the weather is going to remain warm and dry. The weather changes come from the northwest to the southeast, so places like Utah and Idaho and the Pacific Northwest will see the changes earlier. For Wyoming, Montana, Colorado, Nebraska, Kansas, changes are going to be more towards Sunday and Monday. And where confidence is growing that this needed change is going to come to help out with the forest fire activity. Hunters would like to see a change in the weather. Well, it's finally coming, but it's going to be sunny, smoky, hazy all week with very low humidity, lots of sunshine. Smoke and haze will continue in some areas. Now, our details got to get sorted out in regards to this change. A lot of people are asking me, well, how much rain, how much snow, how long? I can't tell you those things. I can tell you that the trend is definitely there. It's the pattern change we really need to see to change where we are right now. But we have to go further into the week. We got to get a little bit closer before we can get into the details. As they say, the devil is in the details. Today, here we are with another big ridge of high pressure, just where it's been over the last 3 weeks. It'll continue to bring very dry conditions our way. Here's the hurricane that's going to be causing problems in the Gulf. You're going to be hearing a lot about this little guy here in the coming days as it is headed towards the Gulf Coast. As our weather pattern changes, it will draw the hurricane into the Gulf, and you'll see that here in the coming days. But here we are on a Tuesday. The ridge is in the same place it's been for the last 2 weeks, but it starts to break down. Here it is. This is by Friday afternoon. Notice how much we see a change. This little trough here gets kicked out here, but another one that you can't see, it's just off the map up here, gets pushed south and expands and grows, and there you see it. We got this deep trough coming on in. See all these tight packed lines right here? This means a really strong jet stream wind heading to the southeast. So basically what will happen is the jet stream will want to drive this system more southeast into the Great Basin and Rockies and other systems. And right here on the edge of the screen, there's a high building helping for this trough to come in. So we've got all the right key ingredients. Here's the hurricane. Hurricanes are drawn to low pressure. So as low pressure comes to the west coast, the hurricane, which is down here now, gets drawn north-northwestward towards that low pressure. By Sunday afternoon, we have what we'd call an open wave or large trough coming through the Rockies. Plenty of cold air, plenty of Pacific moisture. The high now is in the right place in the eastern Pacific, nudging up to the Gulf of Alaska. But I want to show you why we can't give you the details yet, because we have a lot of disagreement. This is the European model showing a strong October cold front that will bring rain and snow to the mountains. Rain, maybe a little wet snow to the plains, and a big change in temperatures. As we take a look at the American model, it's very similar, but notice the American model has a closed orange circle here. Basically, that means a counterclockwise circulation along a low where you start to get upslope. This also will mean, if this model is correct, it will move slower, keep the cold, moist air mass around longer. So for folks wanting to help with the fires, we want this solution to be correct. This solution is still going to help a lot. This solution, though, is a little bit more wet for us as we get into Sunday and Monday, and also colder. But the whole dynamic is changing. The high pressure goes out in the eastern Pacific. We got this trough in the western United States. And this is the end result. Again, take this with a grain of salt. I'm going to show you this same graphic over the next several days, and I will tell you it will change every day. But the message is cooler, wet weather coming into the Pacific Northwest through the central and northern Rockies, even into the fire areas of California. This is just what the doctor ordered with this change coming. But again, this is not anything that's going to happen until Saturday night and Sunday morning at the very earliest. If we were to look at the precipitation in the form of snow, this is what it would look like. So you can see the mountains of Colorado, Wyoming, all getting snowed on into Idaho, Montana, even the Pacific Northwest. We're going to see some changing weather conditions, hopefully cold enough to snow in those fire areas. This is what temperatures look like. Temperatures definitely colder as we get into Monday, going well below average in contrast to our much above average temperatures that we have now. Now, there's been a lot of talk, as well there should be, about all the fire activity in the western United States this season. Going back, it wasn't actually too terrible of a fire season until we got to late August and early September, and things really blew up. And ever since that Labor Day weekend, the western United States been under siege with these wildfires. But it's always good to take a look historically at where we're at. This is where we're at right now. We're about 8 million acres burned across the United States so far this year. That is a bad year. 2017 was a really bad year. And going back also to 2015, you can see we had some peaks. But we're actually not at the peak of 2017 yet. If you put it into perspective historically, if you go back to 1926, and you look at the 20s, the 30s, the Dust Bowl years, you look at the millions of acres that burned, it's nowhere close to where we have it now. This arrow here shows where a more aggressive fire suppression and livestock era got going in the early 50s, a little bit more in the way of trying to suppress fires, allow livestock grazing, that type of thing. And you can see the precipitous fall in fire activity. However, you can see the uptick right here, the growth in the amount of fire activity that started late 80s and early 90s. You've got some peaks and valleys through there. And this is where we are right now. Hopefully we don't surpass 2017, but for those of you that are hearing in the news, this is an all-time record historically. Well, if you only decide to look back to here, you might have something, but if you look further back, the fire story is a much different situation. Thanks for listening and watching the Day Weather Podcast. Talk to you on Wednesday.